G'day guys and welcome to another episode. We are back. 3 weeks, 3 freaking weeks. We had to have off YouTube, had a little bit of a dilemma, I guess you could say, which we're going to explain to you guys shortly what happened there. And we have 5 weeks we had to wait, so it's been and the issue isn't even anyway I'm going to tell you about that shortly. It's been pretty crazy, but we're back again. Apologies, our goal was to do a full 12 months, Jan to December, of a weekly YouTube episode every single week. We nearly got there, freaking nearly got there, because we were wrapping up at the end of the year for a little while, so nearly got there. But anyway, we are back out. Beautiful day. We're just out the back of Woodford here, the Glasshouse Mountains just behind us here. Absolutely amazing out here. Where it's called Bushy Browns. It's like a water ski park out here where we're staying. It's a hip camp, so it's an absolute magic place. We're going to go for a bit of a dip this afternoon. It's just so freaking wicked out here. So excited to be back, get back into it, out enjoying this beautiful sunshine coast up here while we're up this way. So let's get straight into it, guys. The afternoon weather out here is just so freaking good. They got the best setup here. It's like a little barbecue, little hut area. I'm standing here. Got a freaking slide into the water there. They got some canoes and stuff. You can go for a bit of a spin. So there's no one around here, and the lake this afternoon, it's pretty quiet. It's a good spot. Like, they sort of have like a certain amount of numbers. It's not like they just cram people in. Pretty expensive though. Like, it was in the, what was it, Cal? It was like high 40s. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we're doing 3 nights. So it was pretty steep, but places like this is so worth it. This is what we absolutely love. So we're going to enjoy the afternoon. It cannot get any better. Have a swim and just kick back and relax. So much to explore out in the area today. We're definitely not going to get it all done, but today we're starting off on sort of the south side, I guess, around Woodford and that end, around near Mount Me and the Aguilar National Park. I don't even know if that's what it is. We're going to be in and out and around there from sort of what I've seen. So I've got a couple of sort of rough maps. Gonna go out and check it out. I've also I've been using the app. I was going to tell you guys on this when we're out at Kenilworth before everything started to turn this shit. I've been using New Tracks, I think it's called. Yeah, New Tracks, I think it's called. So it's just a free app that you get, and it's got like all different. It's just like done by people that go out for driving, marking tracks, and in different areas. It's good. Like out here, there's a lot of tracks marked, Kenilworth. Sort of depends on where you are, but the main sort of spots. And yeah, we just take tracks on there, and it tells you sort of they're marked, like if they're easy, hard, difficult, all that sort of stuff. So we're going to again, we always just wing it. So we're just on the dirt right now, so we're just going to air straight down. We're probably going down to like 2022, just cruising around and hopefully find some tracks. So Mikayla's airing down, but let's before we get into it, let's quickly tell you and give you guys an update on what the hell has been happened to the car. So look, we always share our experiences with you guys, because look, a lot of you guys out there have patrols and all this sort of stuff, and looking at them and go by us for a lot of our real life experiences, I guess. So, but look, it is a long story. It's a 5-week story, a lot of dicking around. So, but look, I'm going to keep it nice and short. But look, this all started on our last episode. We're out at Kenilworth, went for some forward driving out there. The first hill we went up, all sort of happy days. And once I got to the top, realized that like my modes in the middle on the Y62, you got like your rock mode, sand mode, full drive selector. None of that was working, which I've never seen before, and we really couldn't we had some assumptions of what it might have sort of been, but we couldn't really pinpoint exactly the cause of it. But we're stuck in forward drive low, and we couldn't turn the rear diff lock on, which wasn't good because we're out in some pretty gnarly tracks, and because that wasn't working, like just the traction control and like just the car just wasn't itself the whole day. So end of the day, we had to get back into Noosa. along the highway. Not going to do that in 4-drive low. So there's a way you can manually shift these things from 4-drive low or from 2-wheel drive into 4-drive low manually. And the one tool we didn't have was that one's a special little torque size bit that get in there, or else you had to like pull the exhaust off and all this sort of stuff to get in there. So very embarrassed. I had to call RACQ. He come out. Together we pulled it off and all that. Oh, gee, that didn't sound good. We fixed the problem. We fixed the problem. Got into 2-wheel drive low, so we're able to drive back into town. So we drove back in, went to Noosa Nissan the next day. They were good. Got us in that day. But so from there, they ended up putting down the diagnosis that the transfer module was dodgy. That's what was coming up in their computers and all that sort of stuff. Because the next day, we went to 2-wheel drive low, but then it automatically flicked into 4-drive low. 4-drive high. So that's when we took it into the dealer there. You can just pull the 4-drive fuse out of the front, which puts it back in the 2-wheel drive also. So we can do that. But yeah, so we took it into the dealership there. And then they said that the transfer module they didn't have any is going to be a 3-month wait. And I'm like, that's after I had the car for a couple of days. And then they actually gave me the car back in 4-wheel drive high. They said that they couldn't figure it out and gave me the car back in 4-drive high. They knew we traveled full time towing caravans and said that it'd be right. I mean, you don't want to be doing that. And, so, yeah, I was talking to Andrew from On Track, absolute legend in the background. They're helping us out. And he rang his guy that's a dealer. And we found 6 of them in Australia at different dealerships. So did some hunting around ourselves. This is while I was at the dealership myself, just called up, rang the guys at Furniture Gully. They were amazing. They had one down there in the hand. Yep, got it. So I'm like, okay, cool. Because Andrew's like, do not drive that car. Like, you cannot do that. We're going to blow the transfer case. We're going to do a lot of damage. And yeah, but Nissan was like, yeah, take it. It's all good. But anyway, yeah, so we ended up finding a part ourselves because we weren't waiting that long. So I said to air freight it up. I don't care what it costs, whatever. They said they couldn't air freight parts. But then said, yeah, it was going to cost you $50. Yeah, cool, get it up there. Because we don't have any days to waste pretty much. But then, of course, they didn't end up getting the part from Furniture Gully. They rang another dealer that was closer that had one, but it went by road freight. So it took 3 or 4 days to get there. So they ended up rocking up. And then they installed that, still didn't fix the issue. They couldn't calibrate on the computer and all that sort of stuff that I was getting. So they're going back and forth between this, and obviously they're going to raise a technical case and all that sort of stuff. They've got their processes, which I get it. But it was slow. Like, it was like, email, have you checked this? No. And then it's like a whole day that goes past, and they write another email to each other. And this went on for like a week. Like, nothing happened on the car. And this is when I started reaching, the 2-week mark, and I started getting frustrated. I'm like, I was being very patient. But I just said, like, hey, like, can you guys just call Nissan themselves? Like, oh, no, we can't call them. We've only got to send email. Because they're like, oh, we're waiting for a reply from them. So I'm calling Nissan myself, and they're saying, we're waiting for a reply from them. I'm like, well, they said they can't call. They're like, yeah, of course they can call us. And I'm like, this is where it just started getting like, this is why I generally, not all deals are like this, but the ones I've had to deal with, this is why I try and avoid it. So, but anyway, we had to source the part ourselves, got it there, that didn't work. So they diagnosed it down to that the transfer case needs replacing. So the whole transfer case, not exactly knowing what it is. So they got a new transfer case sent up. In this time, we had some of our fans, Tanya, absolute legend. She reached out and she's like, hey, my partner works at Nissan, Dino, all this sort of stuff, and give me a ring if you want to. And I'm like, I didn't want to bother him, but then I'm like, I need someone to talk to. So I ended up giving him a buzz, and man, he was an absolute legend. He was the only one in the background that could get shit done for us. Got the transfer case like on a truck late at night, he was on to everything. He was absolutely amazing. So the contacts we had from Nissan Australia themselves were good, but obviously the dealerships, they're privately owned, so it's just, there's only so much that you can sort of do. So anyway, transfer case ended up coming up. Put that in, and this is we're really reaching the 4-week mark by the time this all got to this stage. So got it in, all that stuff, and then they rang me and said, hey, it's all good finally. I'm like, okay, beautiful. Went down there to pick it up, and we got the rear coil delete, the full airbags in the back. The car was slammed on its ass when I picked it up, so obviously the guys at the back must have been dicking around with the car and slammed the airbags, but not knowing that my second battery had gone flat in the car there, which, because it's been inside for friggin' 4 weeks, that charges the air compressor runs off, so it was flat, so they couldn't pump it back up. So they've gone and like road tested the car and stuff with the thing on its ass, which is just not recommended. But I was done by this stage. I was need to get the hell out of here. So got it back to our property. We stayed at the Wiley's house, Brad and Carrie Ann. We met these guys over in WA. Absolute legends. They got us out of the caravan park. We're at a caravan park for over a month. RSCV ended up covering some accommodation for us, which was handy because yeah, it was costing us a lot, and we're stuck in, again, first world problems, being stuck in Noosa, one of the most amazing places ever. Poor us. It was, it was nice, but it was frustrating to have the car, all this shit going on in the background. So I picked the car up, took it back to the property, put in 4-wheel-drive, all excited. We're going to go out the Glasshouse Mountains, yay. Driving around, all sort of seemed good. Diff locks, whatever. Then I got there and I'm like, I'm going to put the, both lockers on, just drive around, just make sure it's all good. And as I'd press one of the locker buttons, the friggin' modes in the middle went off again. And I'm like, you are joking. And I'm like trying to figure it out, because it's like when I didn't know if it was the front or the rear. So I ended up ringing Andrew from On Track, and I'm like, man, like as soon as he hit one of the locker buttons, like it's done something. Like, but the front locker has nothing to do with any of the 4-drive system and all that sort of stuff. Like it's totally separate. So like it didn't make any sense. But I'm like, nah, I'm gonna start pulling shit apart myself with Andrew on the phone. We're FaceTiming each other and all that sort of stuff. So, but what we ended up figuring out is, again, I started, because we checked all fuses ourselves, not in the bonnet and all that, which I'm sure Nissan would have done as well, but the fuses underneath the panel inside there, I personally had never even looked at them, which when I think back of it is kind of dumb, but hey, it's not really my thing. But what we figured out was the rear diff lock fuse underneath there was blown. So I put a new one in. So once I put a new one in, all the modes that come back on, I go back in the 4-drive high, whatever, happy days. I'm like, you are joking. Because I remember back when we were out on the track, I was going up the first track and then I started to get a little bit, how you going? So I clicked the rear diff lock to try and lock it in as I was going. And once I got to the top, because a lot was going on, that's when I'm like, oh, something's odd here. So knowing this now, because I said to Mikayla, I'm like, man, I swear it was when I hit the rear diff lock, like, something happened. And that's what it was. So when you hit the rear diff lock, it's blowing a fuse, which turns all the modes off in the middle. Must be like a safety thing, or it's all tied in together. So I'm like, you are freaking joking. So Nissan's gone to replace the transfer module, the transfer case, everything, and it actually had nothing to do with what the issue was. So I'm doing some sort of diagnosis of Andy over the phone, all that sort of stuff. And then, yeah, so what ended up being, I rang up the guys at Nissan again. I'm like, you're not going to believe this. So I took it into Maroochydore Nissan. I said, hey, we've diagnosed it's a loose wire, it's a broken wire, it's a solenoid, like it's something shortening out something between here and there. So I took it into that Maroochydore Nissan. They were absolutely way better service, way more accommodating. And yeah, they had it for a week, and then they've got to get their processes again before they, there's the solenoids in the rear diff. So before they do that, they got to get permission and all that sort of stuff. So look, I get that, but it was a week and not much had sort of really happened. So this is where the stage I got to, like, nah, I'm taking the car back. I've had enough. We're going on. This was 5 weeks. 5 weeks. I'm just like, nah, like just give me the car back, and I'm done. And when we're down in Victoria, we're going to fix the thing ourselves. So end of the story. It's after all this, I mean, it's good news. Nothing was like badly wrong with the car. It was just an absolute dick around. But look, for that fuse to be, for it to blow when I had it, someone must have replaced it in Nissan in that time. But whether we're ever going to, but then obviously didn't check to see if that fixed the problem or whatever. So we're obviously never going to know the truth about any of that. But again, end of the day, it's just an experience. It's a bad experience on our behalf. It cost us 5 weeks of, out exploring all this stuff, YouTube and all that, questioning the car, like, hey, what happened to the car and all that sort of stuff. But man, like, she's good. It's just obviously just a little wire thing somewhere in the rear diff lock. So today we've still got 4-drive, everything, but it's got no rear diff lock, because if I press that, it's gonna blow that fuse again. Still got the front diff lock, so if we need it. But yeah, it's gonna have to learn how to drive again using traction control and no diff lock. So Glasshouse Mountains is probably where the hard tracks are, probably where you don't want that. But anyway, that's a long version of a long story, I'm sorry. But yeah, Patrol is all good, everything's good. We did get dicked around, but yeah, shout out to the guys that we did have at Nissan Australia for helping that out. But yeah, look, it's definitely an experience, and definitely time we're not gonna get back. Sort of lesson learned, I guess. But hey, we're back. Here she is, and let's go. Alrighty, back doing what we love. We've got a nice little bit of flexi uphill little section here, just a nice little bit. It's actually pretty decent. So for this, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to have the front locker on, because we've got some articulation here. Obviously, we've got no rear locker, so there should be a little bit of traction control going on there, but interested to see how this goes. She still loves it. It's just that little bit of rear wheel spin where the diff lock would usually take over that, but oh, she's still just an absolute weapon. I would head onto a track now called A-Break. So it's quite a very steep incline, but such a beautiful drive out here. It's all the forest and just green, and it's just so summery. It just smells so friggin' amazing out here. But yeah, we got a nice decent climb coming up. Alright, we've got a special offer for you guys. Because we didn't have a YouTube episode out over Black Friday weekend, we've decided to do something special for you guys, our genuine YouTube watchers and supporters. So what we're going to do is we've got a special code for you guys. It's going to last from today, this episode going up. So you're watching on Sunday, you're watching on the same day until Wednesday. So if you're watching Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, get on it.
On it.
So yeah, Wednesday midnight. So we've got a code you got to type in on our website for our merch. You're going to get 20% off. I'm not even wearing our merch. Mikayla's wearing. We've got t-shirts and hoodies and some stickers and stuff on there. So you got 20% off the merch, which is awesome. We've never done this before. Never will. Maybe till next year, Black Friday, we might.
That's usually the only time of year that we do a sale around Black Friday and Cyber Weekend. So.
Yeah, so our merch is pretty new, offering to you guys. So make sure you jump on that, guys. Get out and wear our stuff while you're getting around exploring. It'd be awesome to see you guys out there. And make sure once you get it, tag us on our socials and that, so we can share and see what you're doing out exploring in our gear. So jump on, guys. Yeah, so the code is, what's it going to be?
TCYT.
Yeah, so Traveling Campers YouTube. So TCYT from the moment you're watching this video until the Wednesday of the week this has been posted to midnight. So I don't even know what the date's going to be, but you got 3 days. So jump on that straight away, guys. It's a special one for you. So anyway, I hope you're enjoying the episode.
We've pulled up to the Somerset Lookout, and it is just absolutely stunning out here.
Following a track for a while. It's called K-Break. So on the new tracks app, it says marks as a black track, which means like hard, but so far there hasn't. I reckon maybe it's been maintained over the past, but We've got the last little bit here, which is starting to get a little bit better. So I've got a little bit of section off to the left here, gonna have a bit of a go at that. But man, so far it's been such an awesome day. All about wheel placement here. Control for the win. Getting into a bit more of a steeper climb. It's got a couple of little off-camber bits in it. Still walks up it.
Well, it wouldn't be a travelling camper's day out without 3 lonely sausages on the cooker for lunch. So we've just put up, we've got this beautiful view behind us and a nice shady spot. Perfect for lunch today.
Well, just about at the end of our adventures for today, we're going to go down to Rocky Creek. So it's pulled up in the car park here, so I'm going to go down, and it's pretty dry around here, so I'm interested to see how much water's in there. But got me jocks and towel, so I'm definitely keen to jump in for a swim. It's freaking hot.
We had such a nice day. It's so good having the car back and being able to get out and explore the tracks, which is what we absolutely love doing. Even though we didn't have the rear diff lock, but that's fine. The tracks weren't that gnarly today anyway, so not to worry. But we've got back to camp now, and it's Josh's turn to cook dinner tonight. So we're actually heading back into town to the pub for dinner, of course. But before we got back to camp, we went and had a look at out at Glasshouse, because we're literally like right on the back of Glasshouse Mountains, and we went and had a look at Little Red, and I tell you what, it looked so gnarly. It looked crazy. So I do not think we will be attempting that tomorrow, but it will be really good if we get there at the right time to watch someone else to do it. So that will be awesome. But you'll have to tune in next week to see that.